Actually, I was in kind of a similar situation. I had to choose between 2 sleepovers.
That sounds like the complete opposite of my situation.
Okay, just listen, okay? The first house, right, is like really special. When things are good at the first house, it's kind of like the best feeling in the world. But it doesn't always feel like that. Most of the time, low-key, high-key, it feels crazy. It's like legitimately crazy and full of crazy people and full of people who just show up sometimes and I don't know who they are, but apparently they're important. And also, it's kind of like Auntie Marcia's house. Like, it's clean now. It is actually very clean and very nice. But there's just always like a faint hint of stink.
Welcome to the Eat Your Content podcast. I'm your host, Rich Herrera. Thank you for pushing play on my podcast. I appreciate it. Just a reminder to follow me on socials at Rich Herrera and at Eat Your Content on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. So you can follow the exploits of the podcast. Also, make sure you like and follow on the podcast player of your choice and on YouTube. Hit the bell icon so you'll know when new episodes drop. We are continuing our episodic recap of I keep saying Top Chef. Oh, I said Top Chef for 14 weeks in a row, so I was doing a lot of Top Chef.
Yesterday.
I know, yeah. I said it on the other recording. I'm so sorry. We are continuing our recap of The Bear, Season 4. We're covering episodes 4 through 6 today, and joining me once again from her workplace, it looks like, is Chef Abbie. You may have seen her from Guys Grocery Games and Food Network on Chopped. Welcome, Chef Abbie. Thank you again for your time and talking about The Bear. I had a really good time talking about it with you the other day. Looking forward to hitting the middle 3 episodes here. How's everything going? How was your day?
Great. You know, it's very excited to be here. It's been one of those very hectic kitchen life today, believe it or not. I feel like I'm in a Bears episode. No, I'm joking. Not quite
Felt
that
like
crazy, but yeah, I'm literally all over the place running around. I've started my day with so many meetings and all that good stuff. Not much cooking involved today, but lots of planning and talking and etc. But yeah, busy here in Berkeley. I'm in Berkeley, California right now, so everyone's listening.
Yeah,
Cooking
cooking for the
very
school
excited.
there.
Yeah, what's that?
Cooking for the school there at
Cooking
UC
for the
Berkeley.
school. You know, the kids, I call them my kids, but they're young adults. The residents are not all quite here yet, but we're getting all the numbers, getting ready for the August fall semester here in UC Berkeley.
So kind of quiet right now, a little
lull. Right now, quiet like I'm feeding 450 people. So that's a
day.
Time. A day.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is nuts.
Yes. Typically, it's
I was gonna say you cook at the International House, so you cook for a bunch of different cuisines all over the world for a bunch of different people. That's got to be got to be taxing.
Lots, yeah, but super fun. You know, this is like really, it's heaven for me. I love it. Yeah, 80. No, right now the numbers are close to 550, coming from 80 different countries of the world. So yeah, my menu is pretty diverse. So I can totally sympathize with Carmen when he's changing the menu every day. I live that life, you know.
Yeah. That's kind of cool to cook for international students, give them a little taste of home while they're at school, and I'm sure you have a lot of students coming up going, man, this thing that you made tastes just like grandma, and that's got to be nice.
That is my pride and joy. Yeah, those comments and feedbacks. That's what makes it all worth it for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's dig right in. A good middle 3 episodes, I thought. So let's talk about episode 4. Episode 4 is Worms. Just do a quick recap of that episode. This is a Sid-centric episode. She has a rare day off and she's going to do her hair and goes to her friend's house, ends up babysitting her friend's kid for the day, which wasn't planned.
Cousin's house or something, right?
Yeah,
Cousin's
house. Friend for sure, but I think it was her cousin. Yeah. Ends up babysitting her niece for a little while, and then Shapiro keeps nagging her about the restaurant, which we'll talk a little bit about. And then the niece has this conflict about going to the sleepover or not, which then, of course, Sid transfers her emotions of either staying with Carm or going to Shapiro's restaurant in that
Right.
scenario of going to the sleepover. And
Right.
then she makes probably the best looking hamburger helper I've ever seen. So that's pretty fun.
I
Uh, so a
know.
lot of cool things going on in episode 4. We talked the other day that some of the best bear episodes are when they kind of step out of the kitchen and focus in on one character, like Tina with napkins in
Indeed.
season 3, Richie with
Indeed.
forks in season 1, and
Mm-hmm.
Ice Chips with Shug. And
Sugar. Mhm.
this is another example of that. I thought
Yep.
this was a really, really great episode. Um, and this was actually also written by Lionel Boyce, who plays Marcus, and Io also
Right.
did some writing on this one. So written by the cast members,
Yes.
and this was an all African American behind the scenes. It was
Mm-hmm.
directed by Janzika Bravo.
Mm.
So a really great representation episode. I enjoyed it a lot. It was
Me
a
too.
great episode. What are your initial thoughts? What were some standouts to you in this one that kind of caught your eye?
I agree. And I think this is one of my most favorite episodes of the whole entire The Bear series. And it was well written. And I'm getting goosebumps as when you're saying that it is very Sid centric because, kind of, I am really craving for that, getting to know her, who she is, what's her background story, all that good stuff. And just really talking about her heritage, and just kind of bringing that whole signature in the mix, and just well written by Marcus, right? Directed by Marcus, and then Ao also had
Wrote it, yeah,
yeah, wrote it. So I felt like, it says a lot about who they are, not just professional actors, but also brought a lot of substance in this episode. Yeah, I mean, it's one of my most favorites, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Th-
What
It
do you
was,
think?
it, yeah. I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was Shapiro. My guy has never dealt with African American women before. Clearly, I
I
mean,
know.
he calls and says,
His
"Hey, can
comments,
you
I
come
love it.
by? Yeah, can you come by? And I want to go over some things with the restaurant." She's like, "Oh, yeah, I got to get my hair done." So, "Oh, okay. Is it going to be like an hour, 2 hours?" I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
like, look, I'm not black, but I know the effort it takes. It's like
Oh yes,
it's an all day thing. It's
all
not
day
just
thing,
a quick run by great clips and getting your
for
hair
sure,
cut.
for
It's it's
sure.
uh it's it's a communal time
Right,
for
right,
African American women to
for
get your hair
sure.
done, and just the I don't know,
I'm glad you
microaggressions that
caught that.
Shapiro. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I was
I'm glad you
laughing.
caught that because I thought it was a funny thing, when he's like, "Oh, really? What do you mean you're dyeing your hair or something?" He's like, yeah." And she's just trying to change the subject. "I'll be there.
Yeah,
Just text me." I
yeah,
love it. It showed a lot of very real Sydney, getting that avenue of who she is as a character at the bear, because she's always also so serious, right? And very preserved, I feel like. But I'm so happy with that whole entire segment right there when they were talking about her hair, and she was, trying to just dodge it, kind of like, this guy has no clue what he's talking about.
right. Yeah. Shapiro needs to get some more friends because
For sure, for
it was
sure.
so I was secondhand embarrassed listening to him like on the phone. I'm like, my dude, man,
I know, but
get
it's
a
so
get a
real, right?
clue.
And because it does happen. People are like unaware of that. I have black best friends, and they take their hair seriously. It's
Yeah.
like a big deal. So yeah, it's fun, but it's so well written because he was so believable that, like, really you are that oblivious.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was really funny. But then we
Yeah.
get to the house, and then the chemistry between Sid and her niece was just
Hmm.
really cool and heartwarming. And
Yes.
one thing I thought, I don't know if he caught it, but what's really interesting about the bear is they have clocks everywhere, right? Every second
Yes.
counts. There's the countdown clock in the
Yes.
kitchen.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
always
Yes.
showing the clock. And then we get here, and the stove is blinking 12 o'clock. Like,
12
it's
o'clock.
never set. Like, time just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't exist here. And so it
Mm-hmm.
really emphasized that this was a day off for her, that this was a time where she didn't have to think about kind of the restaurant. She can just be with family and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy her time. And then the niece is like, I'm hungry. And then there's nothing to cook. So then we go on a little shopping trip. And I thought that was really interesting of what they cook, and then coming home and zhuzhing up some hamburger helper. What did you think of the relationship between Sid and the niece there?
I think it displayed a lot of who she is. And she does this in the kitchen, at the Bear Kitchen, a lot. She's very nurturing. She is caring, and she really she thinks about things that other people don't. And I feel like, it was kind of chaotic in the house too, right? The mom was yelling at the daughter trying to get the hair, and then there was like, I'm leaving, I gotta go. Like, can you imagine in the middle of your hair getting done? It's like, okay, now I have to babysit, and there's no food. Kind of like what she's going through at the Bear. And she's kind of like showing who she is also outside the kitchen. So I'm very happy to see that. And how caring she is. And it seems like also that she hasn't seen this side of the family for a while, and just that instant connection because she wanted to nurture the young cousin. There's no food, and and then the fact that she was also asking about her life and getting involved with kitty kids dilemma about a sleepover. And she got so into depth about the conversation. And I thought it showed a lot of sensitivity on her part, and it showed a lot of her motherly, or nurturing instinct. So
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah. And another kind of, we talked about, is this show a comedy? And there were some moments of comedy here, especially when she does finally meet Shapiro at the half-built restaurant.
Mhm.
Again, he has no clue on how to deal. He's all like super excited and kind of like on coked up energy about
Yeah.
showing her the restaurant and having this open kitchen. And then he says something like, and yeah, and you're here. We can bring in some Afro Caribbean cuisine,
Afro
like
Caribbean. I know,
Sid is
I
supposed to
laughed so
be
hard.
like Sid is the token diversity chef in the kitchen, and I'm like, I know he probably means well, but I'm like,
Yes.
read the room, man, and kind of
Yeah,
like, do you not hear yourself as you're talking? I thought was kind of
for
hilarious, and,
sure.
and then he talks about an open kitchen concept where he says, and there won't be any yelling like at your place and stuff. What do you think of like that open concept kitchen type? Like if when you're running a restaurant, would you rather have an open concept where everybody can see you, or would you rather it be kind of behind kind of closed doors
You
there?
know what's crazy? I always thought about having an open kitchen is such a fun thing. I did open one account. We have a bistro inside the restaurant, and it's an open kitchen, But again, not like the bear were yelling, but not until Shapiro mentioned that. And I thought, oh my gosh, he's right. People can actually hear you, because when you're inside the kitchen like that, you don't hear much coming from inside because the fan is loud. Things are going, so it's kind of muffled in while you're standing there. But everybody, the sound vibrates, obviously. But I mean, I thought that it was a great comment that he said that. I don't know if he meant that to kind of make her feel like, yeah, if you move here, you won't have to deal with that. It's going to be fun for you. You'll be the star of the show. You're Afro Caribbean, whatever he said. I thought it was funny, but he was kind of hinting here and there too, like, see, this is why you should be here with me. And you can just see in Sid's face, like, uh-huh, yeah, sure. And then she kind of stopped when he said, yeah, not like your kitchen.
Yeah, the lack of enthusiasm as Shapiro's basically bouncing off the walls, super excited about what he's building, and she's
Right.
just kind of like placating him. She's still in
Right.
that inner turmoil of should I stay or should I go,
Correct.
and she, doesn't know what she wants to do, and it's kind of all played out in this conversation with her niece about the sleepover.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I
it's really,
loved it.
yeah,
Yes,
it's really
yes.
funny how she's like, oh yeah, the first house is really special. It's full of goodness and purity and fun and promise, but also full of crazy people and kind of stinky. It's
Kind of
so it's
stinky, like, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
it's really kind of funny
It
about that
is.
conversation. Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought like whoever wrote this was so funny and good that they brought that, humor in that it was a serious conversation, but she's having it with a child, right? But she meant every sense of that word, but played out to a child's, framework of how they would, perceive the conversation. But I thought, I mean, I love it when he's like, but this guy or something, he's like the best in video games, but he has a problem with sharing.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
because, sometimes when I get too good, he would take things away from me, and, he won't say a word, that type of thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, she is so right. And again, like I said, that's why I think yesterday when I said in the previous episodes, I've been waiting for this moment to happen where you can hear something from Sydney commenting about Carmy, because I feel like the whole entire season she gave way to his tantrums or, outbursts.
Yeah.
And I think she's coming from a place where she really admires this person and she doesn't want to hurt him, but then she wants to murder him in so many ways. I feel like she's so angry at him all the time, but also she cannot articulate what she wanted to say, because I think she's really in the fence of, I'm going to break him even more, and
Yeah.
he's already broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, she's walking out. She's got her hair done and everything, and then she
Yeah.
gets a text from Pete about the amended agreement. And then
Yeah.
Carm says something about there's an issue at the restaurant, and then she's like, "I'm done." And then she calls Shapiro back and says she
Right.
wants to go over some paperwork because, as the niece said, you deserve the pizza. Go to the house with the pizza,
With
right? Because
pizza. Right.
yeah, because she was talking about Shapiro's got this really nice it's the nice house with all the pizza that she can eat, and then he's like, duh, go to the pizza house. So it's kind
Yeah,
of
but I
that
like
that
the Thai food when she said
yeah.
that.
Right.
She's like, but you could have Thai food at this house. Maybe I don't really want pizza. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man. I mean, if me when I heard that, I felt like, damn, she really has strong feelings about this other restaurant.
Yeah.
Because when you bring in Thai food, it's like, who says no to Thai food? I'll say no to pizza anytime, but not Thai food. But and that's when she's trying to convince herself, subconsciously. And yeah, but I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, the end of this episode kind of makes you think, okay, she's gonna sign with Shapiro. Let's see what
Right.
happens, right?
Kind of broke my
Uh
heart when she called him, though,
yeah.
when
Yeah.
she's like, let's go over some paperwork, and I'm like, the whole time she won't even open the email of the agreement with the bear, and she's like, no, let's go over some paper. I'm like, please don't. I was thinking about that. I don't know about you. Did
Yeah.
you kind of felt nervous there, like, oh yeah, she's gonna leave?
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous because the bear is Sydney, right? It's it's
Yes,
it's just as much her restaurant as it is Carm's, but it's really her ability to temper the beast of Carm that has
for sure,
gotten the bear to at least where it is now. So if
for
she
sure.
leaves, it's going to be disappointing, and the bear will be a mess. She's kind of the sugar, but she's kind of the sweetness that's holding all the nuts together
She
in
is.
this
She
in this
is.
thing.
She is really the
So
pillar of hope and strength there. And I don't know if you've heard this before, but I've heard this throughout my career when I first started coming out of school. The hardest job in the restaurant or kitchens is the sous chef, right? The sous
mm,
chefs are always better than the executive chef, and so that is a hard title to hold, and it's very hard to get there because you literally have to prove yourself from the ground up. And
mhm.
then once you're kind of in, kind of like what we're seeing now, kind of maybe in the future of the bear, when things are settled, then the executive chef will just kind of like, okay, I'm ready to retire. But then the sous chef will probably move up, or maybe they stay there. But without the sous chef, I mean, a restaurant would, or CDC, it would never survive. I mean, you can live without an executive chef. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
If you have a good sous chef, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
sous chef is the one that's really running the place.
correct.
That's
The sous
keeping
chef
the
is
the day
really
to
the one
day.
that's running the place.
Yeah.
Exact.
Keeping the
Exact.
day to day going while the executive chef is making, I guess, the big kind of vision casting,
Absolutely.
decisions. It's the sous chef
Absolutely.
that keeps the place running. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
and
Oh,
that's what
so
that's
a
what
lot of,
Sid's doing.
yep, absolutely. So
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of break my heart when she called him and said, let's go over the paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
So let's get into episode 5. So episode 5 is called Replicants.
Yep.
So we open up with another Al-Anon kind of monologue, which I thought was really great in
Mm,
the first season.
yes, yes,
Molly
yes, yes.
Ringwald was the guest star in that first one,
Yeah.
and then we have I don't know who was playing the Al-Anon monologue in this one, but gosh, what a story! Hearing that
What a
Al-Anon
story.
story, he's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I let my was her brother or whatever stay at her house and just don't
Yes,
get water
yes,
my plants, and then she gets back and the
yes.
place is trashed, and he
Yep.
says, but I watered your plants, and I'm
Yep.
like, oh my gosh, that is an
It's
insane
powerful.
thing.
It's, yeah, very, very moving. I mean, and the way the camera panned to Carmy's face when she was done narrating her story, he didn't say a word. He kind of gave you this, you know, hint and faint smile, but you can see a lot in his eyes what was going through. And I felt like, maybe the fear that I don't even know if he was there when Mikey was going through the whole drugs. I don't think he was, but I think, just like that mixed emotions of fear and worrying about your family member, etc. And then that family member that you're so worried about is so oblivious about what's going on in their lives and did not really realize how they're affecting everybody around them. And I felt like he related so much into that
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
So I thought it was such great acting on Jeremy Allen White. Is that how it's
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy Allen White. Yeah.
He did not
And,
say a word, but it's so meaningful, his facial
hmm
reaction. Yeah.
hmm
And,
And
and
then
that was a great one.
yeah, and then the last line that she said was like, "He's my brother, and I love him. I want to kill him, and then love him and kill him again." Like that
Yes.
is
Yes.
so true, right? In
So
in
true.
those types of situations. But um, so kind of a great opening monologue, kind of
Yep.
remembering that Carmy is still going through this because of his brother being
Hmm.
addicted to drugs. So
Hmm.
going to those Al-Anon meetings has helped him deal with those feelings. And then afterwards, he goes to the Frank Lloyd Wright studio and
Mhm.
kind of tours, trying to get some sense of wonder, trying to get some inspiration on some things. So a great little montage there, and there's a
Mhm.
lot of montages in the Bear,
A
but
lot.
this was
A lot.
a pretty good one. And then you have Tina doing testing a recipe on her husband, which was great. That's her real
Mhm.
life husband, by the way. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah,
I've seen that
Lisa.
actor so many times. Oh,
Yep.
okay, okay.
Yep. So that's Lisa Colin Zayas, and then her husband, portrayed by her actual husband, David Zayas, who
Wow.
you may know as Detective Batista from Dexter. So yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
great to see him. Great to see him on the screen there. And then you have Sydney spiraling out trying to find her chef's knife. And you have Marcus
Yeah.
working with his best friend selling his mom's house. Just a lot of stuff going on. But I think the best part that I saw on here was when Rob Reiner or Albert is given a tour of the kitchen there by Ibrahim about
Yeah.
expanding the sandwich side of things. So
Yeah.
here we are. We're talking about that opportunity with Ibrahim. He hasn't gotten his own separate episode, but we're kind of getting snippets of that throughout a
Mhm.
couple of these episodes of him wanting to grow and him wanting to expand
Mhm.
and those sort of things. So what did you think of this particular episode here in episode 5? What were some standouts for you?
I'm really loving the fact how Tina is evolving into like a really well-rounded chef, and she's kind of bringing it home. A lot of people would say also in the industry, the difference between a chef and a cook. The chef takes it home, right? The cooks, they clock out and that's
Mm,
it. They have fun. But then just kind of like showing that whole side of Tina, how she's really, really taking this seriously. It's so so happy and to see that on her in her character with Ibrahim. I love how they were outside and they were all ganged up there with Fat Brothers. Who else is the other guy that's doing the sandwich with him? The two other guys,
oh
and
yeah.
they're just doing a business, kind of like a business model of how they're going to approach these things, but then in the sense of, you better shut the f up, or don't say a word, I'm going to slit your throat, I'll punch you in the throat or something. But they're serious, and I love how they bring in the humor and they're just being really human, because that really is a conversation in the kitchen. Like, you don't really sit down and there's that serious person, and it just shows a lot of characters that are actually real to life characters in the kitchen when you work there. Because I know that one guy that does the sandwiches, he goes to an AA meeting, right? Like one day he just came, like, I just came from the best AA meeting, or I just killed that meeting or something.
Yeah.
And then that one guy who was just bugging them in the beginning of season 3, I think, and talking about, you should do this, you should do that, and now he's inside and they're running the show. um I thought it was a really awesome scene, and then they were talking to Albert and they're just kind of getting their thing together. But I was wondering too, like, where was Carmy the whole time? Like, it's a small
Yeah.
kitchen. Like, really? He did
Where
not
was he at?
see these. Yeah, well, I guess he wasn't touring, but then, you know.
She was
And
wandering
they're
around Frank Lloyd Wright's
wandering
house.
around. Exactly, exactly. And Sydney's doing her hair, right? Trying to
Yeah.
sign with Shapiro. And God knows what Richie's, oh no, Richie's talking to somebody, I guess, inside. But I felt like, this is a good representation of the kitchen too. Like if you think about it, just because you're not the executive chef, like don't think that your dishwashers are not thinking about how to make this thing happen for everybody. Like I said, it's the bear is a representation of the restaurant world, really does transform people's lives, and it opens a lot of doors for you to connect with, lots of humans and build that relationship.
Yeah. Couple of standout scenes for me is when Carmy is back at the restaurant talking to Tina. And
Oh,
Tina's like, you gotta stop changing the menu. Look,
yeah.
we're barely getting any ingredient. We're barely getting any supplies from these
They're
farmers.
like, yikes,
Yeah, so you
yikes.
gotta, and then she turns to him and says, "You're the shit, baby. You got nothing to
Yep.
prove."
I love that.
And if Carm's ever gonna believe that about himself, it's gonna come from Tina, and
Yes,
hearing it from
yes.
her. And that's the thing we talked about last time is he's got nothing to prove, but he keeps cooking like he's trying to prove something to somebody. But Tina's there to comfort him and say, "Look, you got nothing to prove. Just keep this
Hmm.
restaurant running. Quit changing the menu,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
for
let's
sure.
keep doing the same thing." And then Marcus, his desserts. So they kind of cut to Marcus, right? And
Yeah.
he's making this, I don't know, this flower shaped bowl dessert thing. And then he has Carmy tasting. Carmy's like, yeah, that's good. That's coming. That's going tonight. And he goes, wait, you missed a part. And then he breaks that bowl apart. I'm like,
Mm.
come on. What did you think of that
Yeah.
dessert?
Damn, I think it's out of this world. I really am so amazed and like speechless about how whoever brought in the dessert, I don't know if they have a director that puts it or food stylist, but wow, that's all I can say. I mean, I can only imagine how many steps it took and time to make that one dessert. And I thought it had the violet flower in it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was, and the connection of that too in that whole scene was so amazing because reminded him of his mom, I think, when she passed and he was
Hmm.
walking around and all that good stuff. And when he, like you said, broke into that dessert, I thought, wow, this is crazy. I have so much respect for pastry chefs, and it's another world. It's another beast that you
Yeah,
have to deal with. It's another layer of insanity, I'm pretty sure. But a lot of pastry chefs are known to be so calm and zen. But
yeah,
I mean, they start their day so early, and all the cooks and chefs are just coming home and they're in the kitchen already boiling that bagel or whatnot. But yeah, that character of Marcus too evolved so much.
hmm,
I remember the first time he started getting that pictures up on the wall and he was doing that donut that he wanted to make a donut. I don't know if you remember that.
yeah,
And now he is in this, wow, Michelin star, top of the world type of world class dessert. To me, that was like, wow, that took a lot of, I mean, I mean, in that dessert that they presented, that is some work of a person who's been at the culinary school and really honed their craft. But if you think about it, Marcus just worked there and they sent him to Copenhagen for, I don't know, a month or so. But look at what he brought to the kitchen. It's
yeah.
almost like,
His arc is remarkable. The guy starts
yeah,
in season one not knowing how to make bread, and
yeah,
then spends
right?
I don't know how long, a week or a month in Copenhagen, and is coming back making Michelin star level desserts. Like that's
Right?
and the timeline, that's crazy.
The
But we
timeline, exactly,
incredibly
exactly.
unrealistic. But I put that
Unrealistic, yeah.
aside. I put that
Mm-hmm.
aside because of the story that it tells and the story that it
Right,
drives.
right.
And I thought it was really remarkable to see that dessert. And then in a few episodes before, he's making all these intricate desserts, but because of that, he's falling behind, and he's having to be saved by
Yes,
Tina and by
correct.
other chefs, by Carm and by
Farm,
Sid,
yeah.
to clean up his station, and he's falling behind. And he's like, Carm's like, you need help. What can I do to help you? He's like, I need firepower.
Yes,
And in this episode, in walks Luca,
yes.
Will Poulter's
Mm.
character Luca, aka the world's sexiest pastry chef.
Is
I
that
mean,
right?
this
Wait,
guy
is
is
he the
like,
kid from the Millers movie?
yes, yeah. His glow up needs to be documented because it's
Oh
the
my
the
gosh.
the
And he's
turnaround of
British in
nerdy
real
kid.
life.
What's that?
Is he British in real life? Or
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that a real accent? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
Oh
yeah,
my
the
gosh.
turnaround of being the nerdy kid from the Millers to becoming Luca needs to be studied, because that's an amazing turnaround
Wow.
for him. But
For
yeah, so
sure.
let's think of, and he's stodging, so he's not even getting paid. So he's stodging for a
Yeah.
few weeks while he's, I don't know, vacationing in Chicago, I
For
guess.
sure.
But
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
think about the level of talent that's in this kitchen in front of house right now. So you have Carm,
Hmm.
who's a world class chef. You have Sid, that's an excellent chef. You have Marcus, and now you have this Michelin starred pair of pastry chefs
Yes.
working dessert, and then you have the superstar front of house, Jessica, Garrett, and Renee working with Richie in the front of house. I mean, this restaurant should be operating on all eight cylinders,
Oh yeah.
and it does start to show, because they have that graph that's kind of superimposed on some of these episodes, and it's starting to
Hmm.
turn from
Right.
red to green to black. So
Hmm.
they, I mean, just the level. Can you imagine if you had a kitchen and you had this level of talent? Like, what kind of things could you just churn out on a nightly basis?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my mind was blown. I mean, talking about firepower, they already got that when the Ever group came in, and then like you said, Carmen, everybody. It's like, yeah, it was really blowing my mind too. And the fact that Luca was just dodging, like you said, but he was willing to put in the effort. And then I also thought about like, oh my gosh, is he here to replace somebody, or you know what I mean? Not necessarily Marcus, but because they did work. He worked for Carm as a sous chef
Hmm.
in one at the Ever restaurant, right? I think that was
Yeah. So when they were in Copenhagen together, they
Copenhagen
worked.
together.
Yeah,
And I
they
remember
worked
because I
at Noma
remember
together.
him, yeah, doing the Wagyu, and Carmos yelling at him,
Yeah.
like where the fuck is that Wagyu or something. But and then I thought, oh, why is he here? And then I just kind of start getting nervous, like, oh God, please don't cut somebody off and bring Luca in there because he's so hot, I guess, or I don't know, for TV ratings. But not that Marcus, I thought would is probably have a good fan base by now. He's also a sexy pastry chef if you think about it, in his own right. He's very quiet, but he has his own thing. But yeah, my mind was blown, like how many talented people are in this room, and but then you have that thing hanging over your head where you have how many hours left.
Right. Yeah.
Can they,
Keep
is this really going to save them?
yeah,
Or
keeps ticking down.
exactly, or you're all in and then that's it, let's cut off the season and we're done, they
Yeah.
ran out of money, just
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. And then you have some really kind of sweet moments with Richie and Jessica, which is a
Yeah.
relationship I want to see flourish and turn
Yes,
into
yes, I
something. I've been
agree.
shipping them since the Forks episode.
Oh
But
yeah.
caution to Richie, don't date your coworkers, right? That's probably not a good idea. But they're so good together, and he deserves some happiness.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of hoping that
absolutely.
they get
Absolutely.
it together there.
I did like that Forks episode of them because she'd come in very hard and strong, right? Like a person, like an ice princess kind of, but you can see this little looks that she gives Richie on that episode on the Forks, and then here she is now, and wow, they're kind of counterparts now.
Yep.
Richie's not stodging, and she's just like a voice of hope and reasoning for Richie, which he needs a lot of that because he loves to yell, right? I guess it's in their trait, in their family dynamic too. Like they communicate by yelling on top of their lungs, but she kind of, I feel like she's grounding him in some ways. So yeah, I want to see that flourish too.
Yeah, yeah. So we cut to Sid and Carmy, so in the kitchen, and Sid is about to tell him that he's about to sign with Shapiro,
Yep.
until he pulls out the menu, and there's no
Yep.
repeat, or they're all repeats. It's
Right.
it's not changing the menu.
Correct.
And he apologizes to her about changing the menu every night, and that it was selfish of him to do that. And this is exactly what she's been wanting to hear the whole
Correct.
time, but at exactly the wrong time of it happening.
Exactly.
And he's about to tell her like the changes to the agreement for the bear, and then the baby comes in, right? So
I know.
again, we have this like push and pull of, is Carmy, or is Sid going to leave Carmy? Is Carmy going to do something to convince her to stay? And then there's another
Right.
interruption. But the most cutest interruption ever of Suge's baby coming in
For
and
sure.
touring the kitchen, and it was really interesting to watch Carmy handle Sophie, right?
Yes.
As he's handed the baby and realizing
Yes.
like, oh my God, I'm such a jerk of an uncle. Haven't seen this baby at all since she was born.
Right.
And Sugar like kind of understands like, yeah, no, I get it. That's just Carm, right?
Right. Right.
So what do you think of those kind of scenes of almost not really, I'm gonna tell you, not tell you, interrupted baby?
Oh man, it was hard stopping for me. I was on edge too. Like, come on, do it. You know, this is it. Because I'm really trying to get to the bottom of what it will really shape the show if she does sign with him, and then what's going to happen. And your mind start playing with you. Well, it's just going to be Shapiro versus the bear. You know what I mean, and all that good stuff. But then when they got interrupted, I'm like, yeah, but the baby. The baby. There's some bigger news than the baby. So let's give way to the baby. But everybody was kind of excited, and then Carmy, you can see he's apprehension,
Yeah,
right? And then
like
when Sugar,
he's yeah, he's afraid this is another thing he's gonna break, right?
right? And another thing, it was like they were screaming and the baby was there, and I'm just like thinking, oh my god, these people. But when they were screaming about Tiffany's wedding, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they were now going back at each other saying, well, no one cares if you show up. Frank has a big fridge. I hope you lock yourself in there anyway, etc. But no good. Stay at home. No one wants to see you. I'm
Right.
miserable already. I don't want you there. And then Sugar found a way to kind of reel him in by, talking about Tiffany, and then yeah, that big sister appeal that she has towards Carmy. Not just a big sister, but also like a mother, I guess, at some point. And they were basically, that line where Carmy or Sugar said, did you forget we grew up in the same house?
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, yeah, actually I do forget about that sometimes. I thought that was so heartbreaking when he said that. And she's like, can you hold the baby? I have to pee. And he's
Yeah.
like,
Oh
oh
no.
my God. I was watching him like he really does not know. I mean, good acting, I guess, because he has kids. And does he have
He's
children in life?
yeah, he's got kids.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, but good acting in a way, like, oh, how do I hold this baby? And
Right.
yeah, but I thought it was a very that whole scene there transcended them into another layer of Carmy again, and like, okay, what's gonna happen next? Because that kind of shows like there's that, the dust is settling in. Now there's a baby in the mix, and maybe things are not too crazy at the moment. But and then the Fact Brothers also comes into play.
Yeah. Got to get
When
that comedy in there with the Fact Brothers. So
I know, right? Yeah,
sniffing
when
around the baby like a couple of crazy hyenas. Like, what are you
right. I
doing?
mean, and there's just so much going on in that kitchen too. And honestly, Rich, that is how it is in the real kitchen too. Like you bring your family or whoever, no one's taking care of them, and there's so much going on in one corner, and then someone is talking about something crazy, and then you're talking about your life, because I think something about the wedding, right? When one of the Fact Brothers said, I invited my sister Francine, and then Sugar was going nuts, like, get the hell out of my office, you're a traitor or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. He's like, can I tell you something? You promise not to get mad? And then he tells about Francine coming and
Yeah.
then she just explodes. I thought that was pretty
Oh my god,
hilarious.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
we close out this episode because Sid's been getting this unknown number blowing up her phone, and come to find out her dad had a heart attack,
ah,
which was foreshadowed earlier when she was calling him trying to find her knife, going crazy about her knife,
yep.
and he said he was sick, but she didn't think anything of it, and kind of because she was dealing with her own stuff and didn't think anything
Right.
of it, and now come to find out he had a heart attack, and that is just
That's just the
a
worst. I
lot.
mean, that is a lot. And I can see that happening. I mean, I have yeah, I didn't go through that whole thing with my dad or anything like that, but I can see how, I mean, phones are not allowed in the kitchen. Thank God that
Right.
phone call came through when they were not on the line. But can you imagine? But in real life, it did happen. I've heard people, real to life stories that shoot, someone died, but I was in the line and it couldn't really get to the phone. But that was heartbreaking to watch too. Can you just imagine that's her only family,
Yeah.
and she was on the phone with him that morning, and she kind of kept on saying, "Oh, never mind, never mind, I got it." And leading to that, the dad's been trying to get a hold of her, and she's not picking up. And
Mm-hmm.
so I can only imagine what she was going through, and just she just ran out of that kitchen. And then when she said, "Don't tell anybody," I am the exact same way. Like, I was in the kitchen, and then my grandfather passed. I'm like, I don't want to tell anybody. I want to get through the service. I don't want anybody to tell me they're sorry. And for some reason, I don't know if this is just with chefs, but if you're in a high intense thing and you're so dedicated to what you do, it could be any job, you just build a shield around you, and it's hard to infiltrate. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was
So
a
we
tough
go.
to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough to watch there. But we get into episode 6, where she's in the hospital, and
Mhm.
what a performance by
Oh
Io
yes.
in this moment.
Oh yeah.
Talking to her dad and talking to Claire, just it's the close up of her face,
Yes.
and you see the
Yes.
tears, and I'm like,
Yes.
just hand her the Emmy
For
already
sure. I
for
thought about the
this
same
episode.
thing.
It's The performance was
Absolutely.
nuts. What did you think about
Yes.
that?
Exactly the same. I said, I think she's going to win an award for this performance.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I thought that it was raw emotions, and I felt like it was coming from a real place. From, I don't know her personal life so much, but I felt like she was really in character. She was, she's a daughter. She's also a chef that's trying to hold the fort there. And then but then at that very moment, she was being very open about how her true feelings was. And she just, I thought it was a tremendous job on her part as an actress, and also just conveying that message to a
yeah,
lot, that this
yeah,
actually really do happen. And yeah, that was
yeah,
it was a great scene. Really, it was a great scene. And then,
yeah.
but did
We
you see in the end though how she kind of just brushed herself off, because Claire said, "You look gorgeous," or something, or "You look stunning," or something, and she just kind of started laughing.
Yeah,
It showed so much strength on her part. She's a strong woman.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah.
It was good seeing Claire in the episode
Yeah,
too,
I was happy.
because
Yes.
we kind of forgot about Claire in season
Yeah.
3, and because it's season 2 after the refrigerator blowout, she was
Yep.
kind of an
Yep.
afterthought in season 3. So she good to kind of have her back in this
Hmm.
episode here.
Hmm.
But yeah, so we are in this episode here where have that tearful visit. And then we talk about Richie's anxiety over his ex's wedding coming up. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of talk about that. And then that thing about the uh, of Frank buying the teddy bear because he didn't want to spend that much money on a teddy bear, and the whole dynamics
Right.
between that. So what did you think about this particular episode? Any standout scenes for you here?
Yeah, when he was on the phone leaving a message,
Mm,
very long message, kind of just going back through, "Hi, remember that book?" And I can relate to that so much. A father's love to a daughter, and then he's just doing his best and all that. And he was trying to talk about everything that's coming out of his heart. And then your message was too long. And that kind of hit hard too. Because knowing Richie's character, he's gone through so much. And then this is another transition for him. Almost kind of like losing, like, he's holding himself pretty well, like losing your best friend, and now your wife is getting married, and then your daughter is being pampered by another man that's coming into their lives. I can only imagine what he's going through. But yeah, I thought it was a good part to show Richie's character evolve too.
yeah. And then there was a neat little scene between Luca and Tina, with Tina talking about, yeah, this pasta's just,
Oh
there's this
man,
talk
yeah.
about, Jessica wants her to speed up the pasta. She has to get it
Yes,
in
yes,
under
yes,
3 minutes,
yes.
and she's getting there. She's making some progress, but it's driving her nuts. And Luca kind of gives her a little bit of a pep talk, and it's just like, just relax. It's gonna be okay. And so I thought that was a really cool scene. But then
Yeah.
we talked about Richie and Jessica already. But yeah, I just thought this was an interesting episode leading up to the final four. That's coming up. Let's see, what else do we have going on here? So, um, yeah, I just thought it was really a really good episode. Just talking about the
I thought
wedding,
so too.
yeah,
Yeah.
talking about the wedding, showing the baby, and just kind of showing this work life balance of being in the restaurant industry and having a
For
family that
sure.
kind of is all over the
Yeah,
place with what's going on, and this baby kind of being a representative of new life,
for sure.
of new things to
Yeah.
come. So yeah, I thought it
I'm
was
so happy.
really good. What's that?
I mean, to touch back on what you just mentioned about Luca, I thought that was such an heroic act on his part, and I wish a lot of people that are, not a lot of people are big fans of the bear in terms of, whatever. I don't know if people just want to be negative, but in a real perspective of things coming in from a real kitchen, um, Luca obviously had gone through the same journey as Carmy in terms of their professional life, right? They work
Hmm.
under each other, they work at, restaurants, high performing chefs, and all that good stuff. But look at how they are, they still came out fine. And Luca is still kind of paying it forward in terms of, helping somebody like Tina. They're not so, their egos are not, did not envelop who they are as a lot of people think that the restaurant industry is like that, or that this show is condoning such behavior, because it's not really about that. I think until you get deep into the show, you will really realize it's showing a lot of beauty of what the industry is about. And that's just my take on that. Day by day, you see all these people commenting, oh, it's not really a real show, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it is. It is. I mean, I've
Yeah,
got beaten down by so many chefs, and maybe perhaps I do act out sometimes. But then again, looking at a perspective, how did they get there? I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but as a chef, you don't just blow up out of nowhere. That is another serious, issue. But if you are really working in a kitchen and constantly there's a lot of, stressors in your life that is coming, and the root causes from the people in the kitchen, then you do react that way. But you know what I mean. But I think that was a very important scene when Luca just
yeah,
kind of pretended, hey, we want to try that. Because
yeah,
I think it's very important. It says a lot about the industry too, that there are people like that that helps people in the
yeah.
midst of the chaos and pain and suffering that we all endure. In the end of the day, we want to put out good food.
Right, right. And it's interesting you talk about Luca and Carmy kind of coming up in the same way. They went to Noma together, they worked at Ever
Yeah.
together throughout their
Hmm.
career, and you see kind of this
Yeah.
diametrically opposite philosophies of the kitchen,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Luca's kind of like this very zen, kind of calm
Yes. Yes.
presence,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Carmy's just like this chaos
Yes.
energy around, and that you come into your job with all the baggage that you have, right, and it kind of forms the person that you are as you're working through it. So
Sure.
so good to have Luca in the kitchen at least for a little while, and
Yeah.
helping things out. So, but overall, I thought this was another set of episodes, another good set of episodes. Overall, I thought
Oh
it was really
yeah.
good. I'm enjoying this season so far, much
Yeah.
more than much more than season three.
Oh, that's good.
I stuck around with season three because I love the bear and I love these people and I love hanging out with these people, and I kind of watch them as like, oh, these are like people that I know and I want the best for all of them, right?
Right.
And I
I
really
know.
have kind of glommed onto them emotionally and want to
Me
see how their
too.
stories evolve. And
For sure.
um, but everything is for me, it's this season is very much an improvement so far versus season three. And look forward to these last four episodes to cover with you and see where things
Yeah.
go. We got the wedding coming up, and then we got the
Yeah.
continual counting down of the clock and what's going to happen there. So,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, looking forward to talking about the last four episodes with you in a week or so.
Me too.
Um,
Me
and,
too.
and yeah, so any final thoughts about these three episodes? We did it. I think we covered them all.
I
But
think we
any
covered them all. I mean, just kind of waiting there, that's how it is with the bear. But I'm so happy that I didn't have to wait like you guys did. I feel
yeah,
like I have more appreciation for season three because I'm like, I needed to get there. I want to know, you know what I mean? But I can only imagine how the wait, that long wait for everybody who are big fans and supporters of the bear. But I can't wait, just like everyone else. And I'm happy that they are signing, or they just signed season five. So
yep. So
saves
we got
me
a
a lot
season
of
five.
heart pounding, nervousness because like, please don't let the show end. I just started watching it.
That's
But
right.
it's an amazing show, Rich. I mean, kudos to every single person and the writer of the show. My goodness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
thinking about all that good stuff. But yeah, more power to the bear
Yep.
and the
Yep.
viewers for sure. I
Yep.
can't wait.
Yeah, me neither. So looking forward to it. Chef Abbie, thank you again so much for your time and
Thank you,
talking with
Rich.
me about the bear and loving your point of view, especially having binged all four
Oh
seasons
yeah.
in a couple
Yes.
of sittings and
Yes.
and having that emotional roller coaster
For
not being
sure.
paused over a
For
year's
sure.
time.
It
So
is so ingrained in me that I thought about last night of getting a new tattoo with the bear, and I'm like, oh God, Abby, wait until.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a great show. But thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's all I can say. It's a
Looking
great
forward
show.
Yeah, looking forward to covering the last four episodes with you
Yes.
one last time. Where can people follow you on socials to keep up with what's going on at Berkeley
Yes,
and things going on in
please.
your life?
Well, I'm the International House UC Berkeley executive chef. We are also open to the public. So if any of the viewers happen to be here in California, Bay Area, we are here and I'm a great representation of who Bay Area chefs are. I cook international cuisine day in, day out, not 24/7, but I mean we are open 7 days a week. We're open to the public. We cook, yeah, whatever you can ever think of around the continent. So if you want to come here and say hi, bring your friends and family. But you can also follow me in social media, Chef Marie Abigail on Instagram, and then Marie Abigail Serbins on Facebook. And yeah, if you see my face on Food Network, they've been airing my old shows, so I'm very happy. Looking forward to that. I have some stuff coming up, but I'll talk about it next time. But
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Looking
Thank you
forward to
so
that.
much, you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah,
Rich, for everything.
no
Looking forward
problem.
to our next chit chat.
Yep. We got one more to go to cover the last four, episodes 7 through 10. So make sure to follow me on socials at Rich Herrera and at Each Content to keep up with that, and like and follow and subscribe on your podcast player of choice and on YouTube. If you like what we're doing, leave a review. I would appreciate that. But Chef Abbie, thank you again for your time, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Rich. Bye bye.